Welcome back everybody. So today I'm going to weld these dividers into the bucket, and the reason being is our fert truck, the bucket is too big for the fert truck, so if we don't put these dividers in, when we fill we're going to spill into the other bays. So I've got to weld them in. We're then going to fill up the fert truck, we're then going to fill up the air cedar, and then we're going to calibrate. So it should be a jam-packed morning of doing all that. So let's get right on into it. Grinding is all done. Time to do all the welding. But I reckon I might run out of mid gas. Let's see how far through this welding project we can get before that runs out. What up, George?
With please, you, the black here, and
Steve,
and my you. So
yep.
I can Bill.
Yeah, if you can, Bill, and I'll just maybe start loading the truck and then we'll get into filling.
Yep.
Cool. So the welding's all done, and like I just said to George there, I'll go and move the truck and then we will start loading it. Now there will be the occasional bit that drips out. We have got some expander foam, but I don't want to use that now for two reasons, because the weld is hot, and then the expander foam, if we spray it in there now, will be wet, and then all of the fertilizer will stick to it. So I will do that after. So we've got a nice full shed of fertilizer, urea, and that's Agstar manganese. Now I've just got to get Wally here and obviously bring Wally close to our loading ramp, and then before we get too carried away, because this has happened before, we need to make sure we lift our doors up and shut those doors there, otherwise you can probably guess what happens. Fertilizer goes everywhere. So we had to jump start Wally the other day, and when I say jump start, we had to leave it on the charger for about 12 hours to get it to start. So hopefully this doesn't happen during seeding. During the Easter break we'll have had to have started a few times just to make sure it's going to start for us next week. The joys of some dodgy batteries. We just closed up all the bins. Now we're lining up. Time for the first load. So we get a nice full bucket. I then tip a fair bit of it out because it sits on top of those dividers that I just put in. So you keep going until it goes like that. We'll get a better angle on it next time. And then up we go. And now we have a nice full truck of fert. All we're going to do now is probably get that in a little bit of a position, get the auger out and start loading. In typical fashion, we're all ready to fill up the air seeder, but it's just drizzling a little bit, and there's no rush to fill it, so we don't want to fill it and have wet fert up there. So we're just going to wait for all this rain to pass, but just typical that it rains when we're trying to fill it up. Whilst we wait for that little bit of mist to pass, which it nearly has, the boys are taking the loader down to the new road because we're going to start picking those rocks up this afternoon. But while they're doing that, I'm just going to put the last few VR maps onto the screen. So I thought I'd show you. I got a printout. So the paddock that we're spading is this one. So you can see last year we weren't doing very much in that sand. We're doing 30 kilos in the sand and 50 kilos where it wasn't great. And down here where it is stubble, we're going at 60, and you can see the rest of the paddock. So I had quite a few layers, sections, whatever you want to call it. And what I've done is basically reduce it. So we're just down to 3 layers now, and you can see most of the paddock is getting the 71 kilos, which is the average for the paddock. There's a few spots that are getting a high 80 kilos, and then some low performers of the paddock, they're getting 60 kilos. But you can just see the difference. I had to obviously change around the clay there, because the clay, well, it was sand and now it's clay, and I want to give that the best possible chance that we can in order to grow a crop on there. And to do that, we're obviously going to need some good fertilizer, good fertilizer rate. If I was just to leave it at that 30 kilos and 50 kilos, it wouldn't be a very impressive crop. So hopefully with changing the maps and just updating it that little bit, we should be able to get a good result. And if anyone's wondering, it's a crowd PCT. It's just a web-based thing, and yeah, it's an amazing bit of software. What they've got in there is unreal. You can do some cool stuff, but it's got a very steep learning curve, of which I have not learned. Time to upload these maps. The next thing I've got to do, I've uploaded all those maps now, so the next thing I've got to do is I need to change our tank grouping out the back and make it so that I can set them all up for canola, urea and fertilizer. So I just got to go into my Cedar and my tank groupings, and you can see it's split into 3, so I need that. So this bin here, I climbed into T2 yesterday and I shut that bin off. So when we go into cereals, we'll open that bin. So for cereals, we put the cereals in there, urea in here, and then we put our fertilizer in the back there. And for this canola setup, we put our fert in the back, we put our canola in there, nothing goes in here, and our urea goes in the front there. Then the next thing I do is I've got to change all my bins. So the front bin is obviously not wheat, that's going to be urea, and then it's got my weights in there, and then I can calibrate that one. Do I want to fill it? Let's just go no for now. This one here is going to be nothing actually. We want bin 3, that's going to be where are we? Barley. It's going to change to canola and go okay. We won't fill it just yet, so we want to eliminate tank 2, we're not using that. So we've got these ones on, and I'll put our rates. We're going to go 2 kilograms a hectare. We'll just change that to 70, even though that will be VR. And our front, we're going to go at 40 on urea. So far so good on the first load for learning. Pretty easy when we got no pressure, so good time to be learning. When it comes to the end of filling, normally end up with a few granules all around up the top of the bin. There is a broom up the top there, but we're a bit precious when it comes to that, so we use the Milwaukee blower. Gets a nice clean job, especially when it's wet up there. It does a much better job than a broom would. All going all right so far?
I think so.
As easy as that. It's not the fastest of operations to fill up our bin. When we're doing stuff like wheat or barley, it'll be anywhere from 40 minutes to an hour. It is annoying. Nothing we can do. Now, you might be asking why aren't we using the augers on top, and the reason for that is well, when we got this bin, it was when we had our seed hawk, and the seed hawk was we were able to lift over, well, we were able to go to the top of the bin, do all three at the same time. We were loaded in 15 to 20 minutes. It was amazing. And then we got the Bourgault. Now the Bourgault's wheels are too wide out for the truck to get close enough, but also the auger in its hopper up there is it's also too high for our augers to get over. So unfortunately it meant that we had to go to this snorkel option and then fill every bin in individually. So that is the reason why we're not using the augers. The augers are still on there because when it comes to urea spreading in crop, we fill from the shed here and take that to the paddock, and then we fill out of those augers out in the paddock, so that makes it quicker. But yeah, it is a slow process to load how we are here. If we had like a belly dumper, we'd be able to go as fast as we wanted into the bottom there, because this auger can handle it. But we've tried to speed these augers up as much as we can with different size cogs, and we've sort of got to our max on it before it starts to be too much for the little motor. It's on the cards to get a new one, but that's definitely going to be a few years away. Nearly fallen onto our urea. Not bad, nice and full.
I'll take that for my first rodeo.
The joys of the beginning of the season. We were getting ready to calibrate, and to calibrate we've got to prime our tubes. The urea was working and the agflow here was working for a little bit, and then it stopped. And the reason why is it's bridged up there, which is very annoying. I know why. It's because the bin was slightly moist this morning when we were loading, so the fertilizer is a little bit wet and it's bridged it. So we'll whack at that and unload as much as, well, this little bit that we can, make sure it's all dry product again, and then we'll have to put it back into there, and we'll start calibrating all over again. Well, that's not the result I wanted. Well, that's much better. Time to calibrate. And George, if you weigh your one. What was that? Okay. Oh, did he take them both up? Oh, that back one's really good.
So you all that on your phone?
Yeah, it's amazing. So it changes our bin number 1 is 10% out, and our bin number 2 is only 0.5. So we'll save those, go again, and redo it. I try to make it light for you, carry up about 10 kilos. I was mean, I went 12.2. Right.
6.55.
No, that one went out quite a way. That's not good. So we just keep calibrating and keep going until we get to it being, there's no correction for us to keep going on. And yeah, so sometimes that first one was really good. It was only a little bit off. We went to adjust it just that tiny bit, and it and yeah, it's moved. So we just got to keep going until we get it all correct, because we obviously don't want to have a big difference and have it out, because we've only ordered so much fert. The top one is it estimated 5.875 and it did 5.85, and the bottom one estimated 10.3, did 10.35. So I'm not going to save that, because that I reckon is good. And the top one doesn't give us the option to save, so we'll leave it like that. And yes, so they're done. Now we're just going to go and grab some canola, chuck that in, and do the canola. So we're only putting 3 bags in, which is 60 kilos, and that way we make sure that our calibration is right. And 60 kilos should get us 30 hectares, so it should be about an outside lap for the guys, and it's all done. So because canola we're only going at 2 kilos a hectare, it takes quite a while for it to fill up. We just did the first one of canola. I normally got to do it a few times. I'm not sure if you guys can see that. We did 3.7 kilos and 3.7 came out. So we are all set and ready to roll for seeding now. And Carl has also finished spading. So we're just going to fill him up and send him on his way. But yeah, all the spading's done, which is perfect timing, because get a bit of rain on it, be ideal. We're all calibrated, and the last thing to do is just to check that we got all our hoses right. So checking to make sure there's no air leaks. Tractor is all sorted and ready to go for seeding. Awesome. Now that we're all calibrated and got this all sorted, just need to fold it and get it out of the way. So that's what I'm doing now. Then need to park Wally in the shed up there, so it's out of the weather. both rat bags in the tractor now, and just got to try and manoeuvre the nice big bar around the yard. The tractor's all parked up. We're now gonna shift Wally and put that in the shed. Well, we're not gonna move Wally because the truck is flat. Oh, we're gonna need to get some new batteries for this. Last job of the day for us is to fill up Henry's tank. Unfortunately, he's going to need just enough to do one, so about 8,000 litres. So I'm going to go back and just fill up 2 tanks just to be safe. So yeah, we'll go back and get this all ready to roll for Henry. Off we go. I think I've got the raw end of the deal here. I've still been unsuccessful in locating a tap for this, so we're still dealing with the water that's pouring out everywhere. I think that's one tank's empty. That made it easier. Right, let's see how I go getting the cap back on. Oh, well that didn't go to plan, did it? Oh, I really need to find a tap for number 6, because I am drenched. I hope that was amusing to watch, because I am wet and cold now. One truck ready to roll. Now I need to put the hose on so that Henry doesn't get drenched. Let's see if I can do it this time without getting drenched. Let's see. Not as bad as just before, but still wet. If anyone knows where to find one of these taps, let me know in the comments, because I'd really like to purchase one. So the boys, whilst I've been doing other stuff, have been picking all the rocks. They've done all that, and they've done a fair way down this way too. How was it, gentlemen?
Awesome. Awesome.
You still want to work here?
Wow.
Oh, I'd imagine it'd be a massive pile of rocks. You're halfway down here. God, you guys have done well. I've got a special surprise. The special surprise is just an AWB. Would you like a beer? There you go. Well earned. Yourself?
I suppose.
Well, the guys have done a amazing effort to get that many rocks picked. It's not the easiest jobs, as you guys would have seen on the previous videos of the grading, just how big and how many of those rocks were. So yeah, no, they've done an awesome job there. And yeah, we're going to leave the video there. But you want to stay tuned for the next video. So the next one, we are starting seeding. So that should be exciting. We'll see how we go with the spraying. The winds might not be too favourable for Henry, but we should be okay. And yeah, then it'll be teaching the guys how to operate the Cedar, and we'll start getting some canola in the ground. So I'll see you guys in the next one.